Okay, so once we go live, which start smiling, because sometimes we'll be live and I don't even know it.
Live right now, y'all.
We're live right now.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to tag everybody from my personal page, and then we should be able to share it out from there.
Okay.
All right, let me go back to the. Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. I believe we are live now. Let me go ahead and start the recording. Okay. So let me just hit the button here. Okay. Hello, Facebook. We were just taking a minute there to get everything all set up to make sure that all participants were available, that you guys could see us and hear us. Welcome to A Queen's Roundtable Quarterly Symposium. I am so happy that you guys have decided to join us on this Sunday afternoon from wherever in the country or state, wherever you are watching us from. My name is Jacqueline Kabai Harrison. I am your host for this A Queen's Roundtable Quarterly Symposium. Getting a little bit of feedback there. Okay. So thank you for joining us. I have a wonderful group here with me today. Some of the ladies from the I Am a Black Woman book collaboration project, which has turned into a movement. I am so super excited. But before everyone introduces themselves, I just want to let you ladies know this is for you, for those African-American women out there that are in business. This is for you. Okay. What we do is every roundtable is geared towards helping you grow as a person and, of course, as a business owner. We share our trials and our tribulations and different things that we are going through or have overcome, the hurdles that we have overcome and so forth in our business, and to provide encouragement and support to those of you out there who know in your heart that you want to have your own business and you have your own business, but we all have our ups and downs. And sometimes we might feel like we want to throw in the towel, right? I know I've been there. So this is, I want you to jump in there. We want to hear your questions, your concerns, your comments, and we want this to be an interactive process. Okay, so get you a pen and paper, cup of tea, cup of coffee, whichever, water, and just enjoy. Okay, so take it away, ladies. I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves and also tell us why you decided to be a part of this A Queen's Roundtable Quarterly Symposium.
My name is Darshell McAlpine. I am the proprietor of Boss Lady Press. We are a boutique publishing house focusing on helping authors self-publish. I am also the author of Leaving with My Marbles, Finding the Courage to Walk Away Intact. Of course, Dr. Carolyn gets me into all kinds of stuff. And so she introduced me to Jacqueline, which is why I'm a part of this. And it's something that's close to my heart. I really believe that as Black women, we need to change the narrative about how we interact with each other, how we function in business. And so anytime I hear that's happening, I want to be a part of it. Published. I am also the author of Leaving with My Marbles, Finding the Courage to Walk Away Intact.
Okay.
Of course.
I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. I hope you guys. Okay. Okay, Miss Terry.
My name is Terry Polk, and I am the founder, and I'm founder of No More Tears, which is a ministry that's centered around, that was birthed out of domestic violence. My issues with domestic violence, to help women and also help teenage girls to understand who they are. I met Miss Jacqueline a couple of months ago, and I was really happy to be a part of this because she does some really positive Facebook Live and positive things. So I was just overwhelmed to be asked to join this Queen's Roundtable. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Dr. Carolyn.
Good afternoon and hello, Facebook Live. This is Dr. Carolyn, and I am the CEO of Black House Collaborations Incorporated, which the I Am a Black Woman series book projects are a subsidiary of that. And I am just elated and just super excited about being here with Jacqueline, who I met last year, actually, working on a project. My passion is empowering women of color, especially, and also giving them opportunities where they can have a voice to talk about the things that are close and near and dear to their hearts. So again, hey, Facebook Live, glad to be here with you this afternoon, Jacqueline.
Thank you for being here. Lisa?
All right, so my name is Lisa T. McAlpine, and I, by day, am an auditor for a bank, but my pleasure is reading and posting and doing book reviews for individuals. I really have a passion for writing book reviews for people that I love or people that I meet. I've met a lot of publishers, a lot of authors, and as a result, I've been able to make a lot of solid connections. I am doing it professionally now, and so trying to do more, I guess, if you will, book reviews that are more in a critical space. I really enjoy supporting authors, especially those that are connected to us. It is giving me a platform, if you will, to connect with people and to really learn a little bit about them. I live in Atlanta, Georgia now. I was based in Cleveland, Ohio for all of my life, but really I'm enjoying it here in Cleveland. I am part of the I'm a Black Woman project, and also the I'm a Black Woman Next Level project.
Nice. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Ms. Kanika?
Hello, everyone. This is Kanika J. Cooper, and I am a mother first. I am an author. I am also a life coach. And my thing is I like to empower women and talk about those things that we go through, because guess what? I was a single parent, and I want to help single women get to the next level in their lives. You know, once the kids are grown, we have something else to do after that. It's just no more just staying committed to our kids. You know, it's a second life. So that's what I'm living currently, my second life. And that's what I'm all about, you know, sisterhood. And I joined the project, I Am a Black Woman, to talk about single moms, singlehood, and just empowering women across the world.
Wow, I love it. I like that. So how did you say this is your second half or second part?
My second life.
Second life. I like that. I love that. Thank you so much for being here. Miss Mary?
Second life.
Yes, hi, my name is Mary Harrell. I am the owner and operator of Gentle Touch Phlebotomy Services and Training, which I've taken a hiatus from because I'm on another assignment from God right now. I've gone back into authorship. I published my first book in 2014, and now I am on the wonderful project of the I Am a Black Woman project as a co-author, where I speak about trusting your process and moving through your process and staying in your process until your process has actually completed itself and gotten the changes that are needed in order for you to live your best life. So I'm more than happy to be here. I'm honored that you would have me on the show, Ms. Jacqueline. I met Ms. Jacqueline through Dr. Carolyn Stevens, and I'm looking forward to us having a very, very long friendship.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Mary. Thank you for being here. And you know what? This is like, when I originally thought about, you know, what I wanted to do with this quarterly symposium, this is a perfect example about us as African-American women just coming together, you know, and supporting and encouraging one another, you know, because you don't build a business or a successful business like in a vacuum. You know, it's about those collaborations and lifting one another up, you know. So just even all of us being here is a excellent, I think, an excellent example of that. I guess I'll go ahead and kick it off. For me, I guess my experience, or the reason that I came to do the work that I do, right? Because the name of my company is Realizing Your Potential, LLC. And I specifically designed it to empower and encourage African-American women everywhere. And the reason I came to that was because like in my personal life as well as professionally, I noticed a lot of issues that we as African American women have stemmed from like a lack of love for ourselves, like a lower self-esteem, I'm sorry, or low self-confidence, right? Because it's like if you don't really love yourself and who you are, it's hard to it's hard to be able to extend that to someone else. You know what I mean? It's like like you can't. I think like Dr. Carolyn, when you and I had spoke before, you made that comment, and it really stuck with me when you said hurt people hurt people. You
Yeah.
remember when we talked about that?
Yes.
And that really stuck with me. And it's like if you are not like right on the inside, or you don't really know who you are, you don't feel good about yourself, how can you then like extend your hand or even encourage or support another woman, you know? So like for me, that was why I originally started realizing your potential, you know, and that's why I continuously like reach out to, you know, to other African American women in business so we can collaborate, encourage, and support one another. And I know my personal struggle with self-esteem, right? And I know that by growing my self-esteem and increasing my self-confidence has made all the difference in the world as far as me and my business. You know, so for me, this is very, 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 very personal. And you know, and I'll go into it a little bit later as we go along. But I just kind of wanted to just start us off and just by sharing with you guys like a little bit about me and my personal experience and why basically why I do what I do and why this is important to me. So anybody else can chime in.
Yeah, Jacqueline, this is Lisa. I was thinking, I have an acronym that I use, and the acronym is FACTS. And the S, I won't go into the entire acronym right now, but the S within that word FACTS is self-esteem. And so it really is about how critical it is for us as females, as African American females, to have and build that self-esteem. But sometimes to get that, there are a number of things that you have to do. You can't just rely on yourself to do that. And you're not necessarily going to just find that in the household, whether it's you reaching out to God, the universe, source energy, whatever your power is, you have to do that. It might be meditation. I did a lot of self-help books, self-actualization, phrases, affirmations to really help me start to build that confidence. And sometimes the reason why we start off with low self-esteem in our environment is because of where we grew up. So, and I messed up, where we grew up and how we lived. I knew I grew up in the inner city and they used to tease me like crazy, long legs, bony, skinny, messed up mouth and everything. So those type of things, you know, can really make it so that we don't feel strong. And we have to do things to build it up. And we can't just sit and just think that it's going to come. In a lot of cases, we have to do things to be proactive in that space.
Well, you know, I like to say right here, just listening to co-author Lisa T. You know, she made a very valid point, which is what I'm very passionate about, and it's kind of what I deem as of intra-cultural challenges. I think that for the most part, that as African Americans as a whole, we already understand and we have experienced biases from other cultures, especially the European culture, if you will. For me, I am particularly concerned about, Jacqueline, the intracultural challenges that we face as Black women, meaning the challenges that we face within our own selves, within our own community as Black women, which was the catalyst for me developing the I Am a Black Woman project, which is now turned into a movement. And I'll say something there. I believe that it has turned into a movement because more Black women are ready to now talk about the hurts, the pains, the challenges that we deal with and experience within our own community, within our own circle. And so for me, if we are still learning how to master engaging with each other as Black women, you know, that is the reason why we're going to have problems engaging with other cultures. You know, we can't certainly love other people unless we learn how to effectively love ourselves. And so I find that, and I'm sure we'll talk about that as we go on, but as a businesswoman, primarily, most of the challenges that I encounter, and I'm sure some of the other sisters that are here today probably concur what I'm saying, they come from within my own culture, within my own community.
Anybody else want to share?
I look at it in a couple of ways. When I started Boss Lady Press, it really was out of a need to publish. I had a friend needed a book to be published, and the publisher backed out 2 weeks before the book was due to launch. So that was the catalyst for me starting the business. My interaction with people, and I won't just say Black people, with people has been mixed. But I think that as Black people, as Black women, we have held on to that idea, even as Black people, that we can't work together, we can't do things together. But I like to say, you know, I'm a Black woman raised by some beautiful Black women who interacted with Black women. My best friend is a Black woman. My sister's a Black woman. I am on a round table with these beautiful Black women that I work with. So is the narrative true that we can't work together? Or is it a fallacy that we've bought into and we keep saying it and perpetuating it?
Yes.
I think that we actually do work well together. And when we do, we build well together. But I also think that people have difficulty when they can't get out of their own way. If your goal, your motive, your philosophy means more to you than people, means more to you than building, then you're going to have difficulty working with someone. I don't care what color they are. But if you bring your talent to the table, what I like to tell my team that I work with, if you check your attitude and increase your aptitude, it's easy for you to work with people because now you're not in the way. There's no ego in the way. I'm not afraid I'm going to get overlooked. I'm not afraid that my idea is not getting chosen over someone else's idea. We're able to respect what each person brings to the table and highlight that. I can celebrate you. I'm not a life coach. I'm not good at that, but I can celebrate you being good at that and help you excel your business, and it doesn't take anything from me. But I don't think that that's a Black problem. I think that's a people problem.
You went out a little bit at the end, but the last part was you believe it's a people problem.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would like to actually concur with a lot of things that my sisters said, all on the same note. I honestly believe that a lot of us are still carrying, and forgive me if I offend anyone, a slavery mentality. That we're generationally still believing what our forefathers and our foremothers had instilled in them. And it created a colorization as well as a self-hatred. The field slaves versus the house slaves, light-skinned women versus dark-skinned women, you know, single mothers versus married mothers. You know, so we were actually bred to believe in traditional, you know, ways that, you know, you're not good enough if you don't have this particular way of life that you're living. And I think that what's happening now is a lot of sisters are waking up, and a lot of sisters are finding their process, and they're moving through their process to the point that they realize, like Darshell said, that they are good enough, and that if they back another sister, it's not anything coming from them. It's not going to take from them. When I had my business very much alive in Georgia, Gentle Touch Phlebotomy Services and Training, I noticed that, and I hate to say it this way, but you know, when white people came to my business, they were willing to give me all out. But every time I dealt with one of my people, it was, well, could I get a deal? Could I get this? Could I get that? You know, like, we are not willing to give each other what we're willing to give another race. You know,
Right.
like, we're not worthy ourselves. And if anything, we should be giving each other more, you know, because it's a us against them type of thing. But I think that people are actually coming into the realization now, and they're starting to believe in our culture again, to the point that we're building momentum and we're building strength. And I believe that that's another reason why this movement has taken off with so much flight, is because women are coming into the realization that together we're strong. You know, it's like Dr. Carolyn says, I rise, you rise, we rise. You know, we're much stronger together as we collaborate, opposed to pitting against each other and staying in that competitive mode. You know?
That's right.
Absolutely.
I
I
was
agree.
thinking, Sister Mary, dead on with that, is that we really don't support each other as much as we really should. And I remember Darshell at her book launch, and one of the things she said was, there is enough to go around. We all hate this. So sometimes I think we feel like, oh, if I support this person, they're going to take these people away from me. Well, they may not be interested in the same things that this other person is. And if we're really trying to support each other as a diaspora, imagine really what it can look like, what it could be. Even we talk about the Asian communities, our sister Terry Coleman shares some insights with that and how they focus on building up their community. All that money stays within their community. What can we learn from that, and why can't we implement that? It's more like the crabs in a barrel concept. And so that's why I'm really so proud to be a part of this movement. I've seen a lot of new sisters I've joined later in the game, but they have been so proactive and supportive of each other. I've not really been a sisterhood like this before, and just to see how they are all building each other up and really looking for ways to continue to build each other up, and that's something that we want to spread throughout.
You know, let me just add this. Ladies, a couple of you I wasn't able to tag for some reason. That's what I was looking down at, but I'll tag you later. And for some reason, Lisa, you were coming through really, really low. I don't know if everyone else is having difficulty. That's why I was like doing like that, but I don't know what it is. It's like I could barely hear you.
Okay.
But yeah, I totally agree. Before I go off on a tangent, because I know I can, Miss Terry or Miss Kanika, anything you guys wanted to add?
Well, I would just add a little bit of what everybody said. You know, if we support each other, it's not going to take anything from us. We have to learn to back each other up. We have to learn to pull each other up. We have to learn mostly to stay in our lane. I can't do what Darshell does. I can't do what you do. You can't do what I do. I can't do what Kanika does. But when somebody comes to me and they want something that makes their skin look pretty, I can send them to Kanika. I can send them to my sister. I don't say, well, don't go to her. Go to Walmart. No, I'm going to send them to my sister, because we need to learn to pull together and support each other and be there for each other, be a support system for each other. Because everybody has those bad days, but we need to call our sister and we need prayer, or we just need an encouraging word. Encouraging you or encouraging Dr. Carol is not going to take anything away from me. And that's just what we need to understand. And I'll say what Lisa said. It is enough money for everybody. And I often say this in ministry because I run into a lot of people competing in with the women's ministry. It's enough people that need to be saved. It's enough people that needs to be delivered. We don't have to fight, because it's enough people to go around for everybody. So if we would just support each other more back each other up, just be there for each other. I just think that we can do more together than we can do apart.
Right. I totally agree. Um, I guess that's one of the, because Dr. Carolyn and I met last year. We were working on this book project together, and that was one of the things that really attracted me to you, Dr. Carolyn, as well as all of you, was the fact that everybody like lifts each other up. It's not that and I'm not saying everybody is like this, Darcia, because I know you had mentioned earlier that you feel it's more of a people thing, and not to say that it's not, but I feel that just like with a lot of my personal experiences, but I know some of you may not know, but I do African dance. I have for over 25 years. And I remember when I first got into the community, I thought that, okay, this is African dance, this is going to be like a different ball game. Everyone's going to be welcoming, and, and it's primarily African American women, doing African dance. And especially not necessarily in places like New York or those types of cities, but like being from Detroit, it was all of us that were there. And I just remember being so disappointed, like, and so discouraged, because I was just like, wow, like people are really just like treating me like, well, who are you and why are you here? And, it was just like a real awakening for me, and just, so I'm combining two things. So that's my personal experience. And professionally, like I said, I work with a lot of disadvantaged groups. And I worked with a lot of African American women, but I've also worked with, other socioeconomic, statuses, other ethnicities. And I had just noticed that common theme was around that self-esteem. Well, that rhyme, common theme, self-esteem. Okay.
Write it down.
I'm a little silly, y'all, but okay. So I had just noticed that, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, wow. And one of the things that I think kind of keeps people, I mean, like Mary, like what you said earlier, yes, I do think that there are a lot of leftover, I can't think of a word, but let's say residue or effects of psychological slavery. I'm totally with you on that. But that whole kind of crabs in a barrel type of mentality, or operating from a place of scarcity. You know what I mean? Like I gotta, and even if it's with a man, competing over a man, all of that type of thing. I think some of that carries over and even into this business, this online arena, and I have to say that I've had good and bad experiences with like some women that I reach out to. Some women, they want to collaborate. They're like, oh, I love what you do. I'm like, yeah, I love what you do. That's why I reached out to you. You know what I mean? And they come on the show and they, we support each other. And yes, there are some people that come on the show and they never circulated. They never, it's not reciprocated. And I'm not saying that that's specifically because they're African American woman, but I have noticed that, and for me, I want to uplift everybody. You know what I mean? Like I don't want, I want my business to be successful, yes, but I don't feel that if I uplift you or give you a like or give you a comment or share your event, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel that that's gonna like take away from me. And unfortunately, some of the things I've experienced, I think some people do come with that type of mentality. You know what I mean? It's all about, me, or if they might meet a couple of people that they like and they want to uplift them, but those other individuals that they're not connected with, it's a whole different feel that they bring to it. And like I said, for me, that's why doing this is so important, because I think that we as African American women are so strong and we are so powerful, even by ourselves, much less if we come together, what we can do, uplifting each other, uplifting ourselves, having a greater impact in the community, and showing an example to those other women out there in the community and the younger people coming up in the community that want to do positive things, showing them that we're doing something positive and we're doing it together.
Yes.
Oh, you speaking, doctor?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
no.
off
Go
my
ahead.
soapbox right
Go
now.
ahead, sister. That's fine. Yeah, I was gonna say something. Go ahead. It's fine.
Oh, I just wanted to concur to touch on what Ms. Jacqueline just said in reference to us encouraging one another. I honestly believe that, you know, God blesses everyone with some form of pregnancy. Everybody has a baby of a different sort. But I honestly believe that we as women need to actually start to master the art of midwifing and supporting other women to birth out their dreams, because God will exalt you in your due season. But if you're sitting and you're fighting and you're trying to take on all of the attention, I mean, you're doing nothing but you're doing a doggy paddle and you're not going anywhere. You're just and just offending people. I honestly believe that, you know, true love of self and true love of your fellow women is to learn how to be a midwife and not be afraid to help somebody else birth their dream. You know, I'm totally for getting joy out of seeing someone else succeed. You know, and we a lot of us have to actually take on that mindset and stop with the me, because you're just spinning your wheels. You're just spinning your wheels and you're not going anywhere.
That's true.
That's true. And Mary,
I think you're manifesting your fears, though. I think in general, one of the physicians I work with said this to me, and it to this day, I think about it all the time. He says, Darshell, most people are not introspective enough to learn from their mistakes. Mm-hmm. Meaning we don't look inside of ourselves and say, let me deal with my issues, not what's wrong with me, but let me recognize that some stuff's kind of jacked up and I need to work on it.
Right.
Yes.
So when we interact with other people, we are manifesting our fears. It is oozing. And I say this sometimes, I don't worry about getting rid of people or walking or doing any of that or telling them off, because they weed themselves because they continually manifest their fears.
Yes.
And I'm a fear confronter.
Yes.
So if you manifest your fears with me, I don't have any problem saying, so let's talk about what the real issue is. Because I know we're talking about this book, but I don't think that's it. So let's get over here and talk about what's really happening. And all of a sudden, bam, you face to face with your fears. Now, either you're going to address them or you're going to stop talking to me, one way or the other. But the reality is, I'm a lover of my people. And I know that we're afraid. We're afraid of succeeding as much as we're afraid of failing.
Yes.
We're afraid of each other doing well as much as we're afraid of not doing well.
Yes.
We have more high blood pressure, more diabetes. A lot of that has been genetically woven in because of our fear, our level of stress that we live with every day. And we are being told in every avenue, everything that we see in the media tells us not to love ourselves, not to love each other. We don't commit the most crime, but we see ourselves in the most crime on TV, but we don't.
Yes.
Right.
We don't have the most unwed mothers, but we see ourselves on TV, and because that's what's reported, we believe that. So we are babysitting, we are encouraging, we are feeding our fears. And when it's time for us to interact with each other, we are manifesting those fears.
I want to speak about
that's so true about the teen mother. I was thinking about this the other day. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I just want to say this, touch on it while Darshell said it. I was thinking about this the other day, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. When young Black girls became single teen moms, it was supposed to be a shameful thing. But when white young girls became teen moms, they made a reality TV show out of it.
About that. Yeah, we got a TV show about that. It's
you know,
popular, right?
That's crazy.
But again, we have to change the narrative. And we cannot allow what's outside of us to tell us who we are. That's why we've got to get that introspection going so we know who we are. I may have these fears, but I'm addressing them and dealing with them every day. I am not perfecting, I'm not perfect, but I walk in excellence because that's what I was birthed into, excellence. No matter, I grew up in the projects, but I'm still excellent. My mom was in a situation where she was abused by my stepdad. I'm still excellent. I went to an inner city school, but but I'm still excellent. I may be the only Black face in the place, but I'm still excellent. We have to change our narrative. We have to call ourselves who we are and continually pour into ourselves. Like Lisa was saying in the beginning, are we encouraging ourselves? Are we doing the self-help, the self-awareness, self-actualization? Are we dealing with our own issues so that when we get on a project like I Am a Black Woman, we are not stifling the project because of our issues, but we are able to be a help to Dr. Carolyn and not the bane of her existence, because we can't get ourselves together. And now she got to use her therapy degree to fix it.
Well, thank you so much for that. I want to say something about what Ms. Darshell said, which I will say publicly, that I consider Darshell not only to be my publisher, but she's also one of my midwives. And you have to get the book so you can hear more about that one. But I think, and when I say that, in a sisterhood, and I think, Jacqueline, we talked about this when I was on your show once before, is that we do have to lend ourselves to a certain amount of vulnerability to each other. So when she talked about confronting fear, that as sisters, we ought not to be afraid to say, I am afraid.
Right.
A sisterhood is to serve as an incubator. So, and I could tell you that I've gone to Darshell with many of my fears about this project, but I don't feel that she has never treated me any less of a professional because I chose to be vulnerable with her. And I think that if we would learn as sisters to learn how to be a bit more, because that's where intimacy comes from, okay? If we're going to be a organic sisterhood, we're gonna have to lend ourselves to being a bit more vulnerable. I mean, you might as well, because let me tell you the truth, we all can see it anyway. I mean, we can see it. I mean, let's just get real about it. The elephant is in the room and we all see it, sister, okay? So, and maybe, and I think that sisters tap each other on the shoulder and say, hey, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I noticed, okay? But I'm not here to embarrass you. I'm your sister. I'm here to make you heal. We have to become a safe place for each other. And I say that because the reason why we see some of these toxic behaviors being manifested is because it's out of fear of many things, fear of not getting ahead, fear that you're going to get ahead before I get ahead. It is all really steeped in fear, but I would love to see it that as a sisterhood, that we can become this incubator for safety that says, sister, you know what? If you tell me your fear, I'm not going to use that against you, but I'm going to love you and I'm going to take the strength that I have and I'm going to give it to you because, in fact, it doesn't matter. You have something in you that I need, and I have something in me that you need. Iron, the Bible says, iron sharpens iron. And so when we come to that level of pathology where we realize this woman is not somebody that I have to compete against because she has fears just like I have fears. She has inhibitions and ambivalences just like I do. We are really all the same at the end of the day.
Amen.
Yes.
You know what? It's like I don't be wanting to interrupt, and I'm pretty sure everybody else feels the same way. But everybody be touching on so many points. You be like, "Dang, I want to say something about that. Or I want to add to that." But Dr. Carolyn, yes, the fear. People, I think, are reacting and projecting their fears. And Darshell, what you said earlier about insight. But like to me, all of that's connected, the insight and really knowing who you are. You know what I mean? Whether you do that through meditation, through prayer, just being insightful and knowing what your own issues are. Because like you said, otherwise you'll keep acting them out. You know what I mean? And and that's, I think that comes from practicing good self-care and just really knowing who you are and tuning in to who you are as a person. And then it leads into like what you were saying, Dr. Carolyn, like even when you relate to people, that whole vulnerability piece, like I tell y'all right now, I was so nervous about doing this online. And it's not, I haven't done anything online before, but this is my first time using Zoom to with this type of platform. I've used it before, just like individually, like interviewing one person. And I was so nervous about it. I was like, oh my God, literally I had butterflies in my stomach because I wanted everything to go off. I am like a recovering perfectionist, y'all. I have to admit I am.
That's my phrase, Jacqueline.
You're in good company. You're in good company.
You know what I'm saying?
Welcome to the one.
I'd be like, oh, I want it to be smooth. Da, da, da. I have all of those types of, I want to be, like I want to look, what am I trying to say? I want to bring it to life. I know what my vision is, but the tech part is not my strength. And because I had such a bad experience last week, I couldn't even get on Zoom. Whatever the reason, I couldn't bring it up. So I was so nervous. But Dr. Carolyn, like you said, like some people try to, they never want to show any weakness or any vulnerability or any apprehension or self-doubt, and that's just not real. And like you said, I like how you said that's how you build intimacy. You know what I mean? And like trusting and just being who you are, like showing up as your authentic self, and realizing who you are and what your own issues are. Because like you said, Darcy, a lot of people don't even realize their own issues. They really have, they don't have a clue.
But you see what you just said, if I may chime in for a minute. You said, which that's my faux pas as well. You said, well, I'm not really good at all this tech stuff. But here's what sisterhood does. Sisterhood can come to each other and we can say, you know what, girl, I'm not good at that. But guess what? I may be. And so I am going to cover you in the area where you're deficient and you're going to cover me. And by the time we get out here, nobody's going to know what you're good at or what, but what you just did, you made yourself vulnerable because who's going to know? In other words, women, we have to stop putting on this pretense that we have it all together. You don't have to do that. When you become comfortable with who you are, you not only embrace your strengths, but you embrace your weaknesses too. And where I'm weak, my sister is strong. I got sisters that got my back. Yes. And that's okay. Because when we come out, the bottom line is nobody really even has to know it. But when we come out looking strong. That's what sisterhood is about.
Yes. What's interesting too is, I know Les Brown said, face your fears. And he said, what you resist will persist. So if you continue to push away or try to act like you don't have a problem or you don't have an issue and you don't want to cope with it, it will remain. And I've noticed even in the workplace, in the business space, sometimes we do need to put on, some level of confidence when we're in the business space. But in some cases with the folks that report to me, I'll let them know I am not the expert on this. Like I am good at this, that, and the other. But when it comes to this particular technical piece, that's what I'm relying on you for. Or we'll get out of the meeting and I'll say something that didn't go so well. What do you think you could have done better? What do you think I could have done better? We initially, when I went into the business place, felt like I had to be perfect. I felt like I had to do everything just right. And so I was extremely critical of myself. And that made it to the point where I didn't even want to speak up. I didn't want to speak out. So it's important for us. I had a few mentors that helped me understand that it is okay to mess up. It is okay to err. And sometimes when you put it on the table, again, Jacqueline, as you did, that's when you can get some of the help that you need. When you say, look, I'm weak in accounting, or I don't get this financial stuff, or I don't get these earnings, you may find someone who wants to help you with that. But the first thing is facing your fears.
And you know what? I want to acknowledge, I know it's a little late, y'all, but I'm sorry. I want to acknowledge that author Reginald McAlpine. Am I pronouncing the last name?
McAlpine.
I messed it all up. McAlpine. had joined us. I don't know if they're still on. I know Yolanda was on and Dawn was on with us.
Aw.
So I would just want to acknowledge you guys. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Sorry it took me so long, but thank you so much for joining us. If you're still with us, thank you for joining us. I just want to put that out there. And I want to say that what I think is kind of cool is that, like, for example, that like there are women in the online space that I reach out to help me with the tech stuff. You know, there are people I reach out to that are good with graphics. You know what I mean? Because like you said, everybody has a different, different things that they're strong in. You know, so I think it's all about like making those connections. You know, and I think that becomes part of you being like aware of who you are, and part of that is knowing when you being able to reach out, knowing who you can reach out to, right? And just being and being resourceful, and just not feeling like you have to do everything on your own. You know, you got to do everything. You know, it's okay to reach out. And this, I don't think this is going into a different subject, but I want to ask you guys this. Why do you think? Well, first of all, do you agree? And then if you do agree, why do you think that is so? I feel that we as African American women, we feel that we always have to keep it together. You know, we never, like, a lot of us don't want to ask for help. We don't want to admit that maybe this might be too much, or maybe we took on a little bit too much, or that we need some help. You know, why? What I mean, because I feel like a lot of times we really try to like hold it together, and almost like it's a sign of weakness if you reach out for help and say, you know what, I'm struggling with this. You know, can you help me with that? Like, I mean, so first of all, do you guys agree with that? And if you do, why do you think that is common amongst us as African American women?
I honestly believe it's common amongst us African American women because the Black woman has always been depicted as a very, very strong force. We think about Big Mama and our grandmama, and they always held that family together. They always held it together, and they didn't look like it was that hard because that's the stock they were made from. And we, as the following generations, I believe myself personally, look at it as weakness. Weakness when you can't hold it together like Big Mama did, or like your mother did. My mother was the epitome of a strong woman, even all through her abuse and the attempted, the life attempts on my father trying to kill her and things of that nature. And my mother, she just held it down all 88 years. She held it down, and she just looked like, it rolled off her back like a duck in water, and she just kept moving, and I think that it's a beautiful thing for Black women to be that strong, but I think it's also a curse because the reality of it is we do need each other, and we're just human. And there's times that we are at our weakest moments and we need to actually ask for help. And I've learned how to ask for help. I've decided to break the generational curses of functioning in a dysfunctional state. I've learned that I'm not going to do that anymore, So I think that we just have to actually come to the realization that we're all just human. We're just human.
Yeah, Sister Mary, you bring up a good point. I think Kanika mentioned, it might have been a couple of weeks ago, the Willie Lynch letters. And that reminded me of how women, Black women, were almost made to deal with so much because of the emasculation of the African American male, of the Black male. So they stripped the male of everything that he was right in front of his wife, his woman, his children. And then as the Black woman, we had to pick up what was left, raise the children, try to manage the household. And so for centuries, decades, we're dealing with, this is what we're supposed to do. And as Mary mentioned, I'm just now getting to that point where I'm going, there are certain things I just can't handle, and I'll say I can't handle it. even at work, I'm sitting back and I'm watching people now. I'm really observing, like I used to observe, but now I'm really watching, and I'm seeing that there's a lot of people just sitting back chilling. Now, I think we intentionally do more because we know we come in with a stereotype, but sometimes we do way more than we need to do. And once we get to that space where our reputation and our work is speaking for itself, then that's when we need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and our health and our families.
Miss Kanika, you've been awfully quiet over there. Can we hear that voice? I see your mic is on mute and everything.
Oh,
I
what
just
I'm
called
gonna
you out.
I'm gonna piggyback off of something was said. You know, we as women, Black women, we've been known to, like Mary said, to be very strong, right? And it is like cursing to say I need help. It is like, okay, we know how to do everything, and we don't have. I believe, you know, personally for my own self, I don't have a problem asking for help, but it may take me a minute to ask for help because sometimes it depends on who you're going to get help from, right? Because people teach you not to come for them for help from past, so you're like, okay, I can't go to that person. And then, but what I find myself doing is, you know, confiding and going to people that don't know me, that won't judge me, but will accept me and don't know me from Adam Cat's apple versus my sister or versus my best friend or versus someone who was raised up with me, that know my problems and they know what's going on with me, but will sit there and watch me dwindle down to nothing, where someone on the other side will come and say, you know what, you need this. I thought about you today. It's hard to ask for help when you see the people that's supposed to love you, supposed to embrace you, supposed to uplift you to be better, to want better, to have better. So we would take that and internalize that and make it seem as though that part goes towards everybody. I'm in this world by myself. You know what I'm saying? Every man for himself, but God for us all. And I understand that to a certain degree. But it's okay to say I need help. It's okay to say I need a listening ear, a sounding board. Ask somebody, you know, because sometimes we as friends, we would so-called listen to our friends talk about their problems and everything like that, but then we have to give our interject our opinion instead of listening.
Right.
I didn't say I need solutions from you, sis. I said I need you to listen to me. Now, if I say I need some solutions to go along with that I need to cry out, then I have that, you know. But being strong and being weak is an awesome thing. And what I've learned over the years of seeing other women being abused, you know, a lot of times people say, "Oh, you're a weak woman because you stayed." No, it takes a lot of strength to stay in an abusive relationship or an abusive type situation and say, I'm gonna grin and bear and work it through, because it's so easy to walk away to the stay sometimes. And I had to think about that because I thought about some, you know, family members and how they endured a lot of things over their life. And, you know, when you're younger, you may think one way, and as you get older, you live a little bit. You understand, you can kind of, you know, see what they went through and understand a little bit more. And I was like, wow, you know, you have been a really resilient woman, because my mother is a very soft talking woman and she's, you know, physically not that strong. But I was like, you know, you endured a lot of things a strong woman don't want to endure. So, you know, strength is good and weakness is even better, because that shows me that you're vulnerable, that you have, you know, it's okay to be vulnerable, because guess what? If I'm so strong, my baby can't come and tell me when she got something going on and what's wrong with her. Well, I say, get up, keep going. No, I want you to cry. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
You know, cry about it. It's just like telling your son, get up, boys don't cry. No. That's what makes cold hard. No, they need to be able to express themselves. They need to be able to say what's hurting them. And you be able to say, okay, we're going to give us a 5-minute powwow. We're going to cry this thing out, and then we're going to keep on moving. But we're going to talk it through, not say don't cry. So it goes on both sides for the women as well as the men. And now I'm going to put my...
I want to piggyback on the vulnerability piece because it keeps kind of coming up. And one of the pastors, the church I used to go to in Chicago, said something that sticks with me. He said, talked about Jesus. When you talk about what would Jesus do, it's the ultimate display of vulnerability. When we come to each other, we don't really know how we're going to react, but you're talking about someone who knew exactly what was going to take place, made friends with someone he knew was going to betray him. And still the sacrifice he made was for that friend and for the others. Knew that the one that said, look, I'm gonna go with you, I'm gonna die with you, I'm gonna do whatever with you, was gonna hide in a corner and be like, I don't know him. Oh, the ultimate level of vulnerability. And here's the thing, being vulnerable doesn't mean that other people are going to be reciprocal. It doesn't mean that they're going to be perfect in their relationship to us. They are going to hurt us. What the man said, what the pastor said is, if you are going to love, you are going to have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
If you take a chance.
Yes.
Every time you decide to love anybody, your child, your mother, your husband, your best friend, your dog, you take a chance that the object of that affection is not going to be reciprocal. And that is vulnerability. That I take the chance that I'm going to give this to you and you go jack it up and not know what to do with it. And then I have to figure out how not to fold in on myself. Because vulnerability is that gift to you to really experience life and experience love and people without reservation, the way it was made to be experienced, the way Jesus displayed it, the ultimate display of I'm open. I'm giving myself to you. Here I am. What are you going to do with it?
Well, you know, Darshelle, that actually, I'm going to concur with you in reference to the ultimate vulnerability is love, as well as the ultimate, you make yourself very vulnerable with self-love.
That's
because
right.
if you really, really, really love yourself, you love yourself enough that you know that you're not perfect, but you love even your imperfections. And you don't worry about the judgments and things of that nature because you're secure enough in yourself, because when you love, when you love yourself, you're secure within yourself.
Yes.
Good talk, y'all.
And that's really good. Even as we talk about practicing a level of vulnerability, being a therapist, we definitely have to hear about the what going in. When you accept a client, you have to know the what. But we attempt to not try to place a lot of focus on the what, which is something that generally happens just in socialization, is that we place more emphasis on the what than we do the why.
Yeah.
So as a therapist, our job is to help our client to discover the why. When people behave a certain way, even when we talk about Black people and some of the behaviors that they demonstrate. And we spend a great deal of time talking about the what, but we do need to spend more time, I believe, focusing on the why, because the why is the reason for the what. Why are you afraid? Why are you afraid? I mean, since I'm on Facebook, I want to ask that to the sisters, not on this panel, but those that are watching. Why are you afraid? Why are you afraid? And what happens, I believe, is that we are afraid of asking that question. Why? Because when you ask the why, it's going to begin to unearth
Mhm.
of hidden things that oftentimes as women that I use the term, we pack away. We pack away. And so we do have to ask that question, why? If you're jealous, we don't want to just focus on the what, that, you're jealous, but why? Why are you jealous? Because there is a why. And if we get to the why, then we know exactly what it is that we need to deal with. And if we're going to love, as what Ms. Darshell talked about, we have to be willing to ask that question, why?
Yeah.
And then when we hear the why, guess what? We have to be willing to deal with whatever their why is.
Right.
Because sometimes we are afraid and ambivalent to ask the why because we're afraid of hearing the answer. Because when you hear the answer from somebody, now you become somewhat responsible, or you become a carrier of their why. Well, I don't interact good with women because I was molested. And if a sister comes and tells you that, you now become you become a receiver of that why. So we navigate with each other all the time, and we just focus on the what. People don't act the way they act. People don't behave the way they behave just because. There is a why. And when you love someone, you want to know that why. Because I'm your sister, I want to help you navigate through that process. I'm not saying as a therapist, but just as a friend, I want to bear that why with you. I want to walk with you through that why. And when you tell me that why, I'm not going to love you less because you tell me what that why is.
And Dr. Carolyn, I
yes,
think that's the challenge. Sometimes it goes back to, I think it was Ms. Kanika mentioning this, is being judged, whether it's by our friends, our sisters, our loved ones, people we work with, whoever it is. We may be fearful of that. And until we get to the point where we go, I don't care that they know this about me, then it is hard to peel away that why. I know in writing for I'm a Black woman, and writing my pages there, and get into the why was hard. And I don't have, my story does not necessarily equate to some of our sisters here. But, when I looked at it again and I said, really, if I scale it back, why am I feeling this way? And the reason is because I heard one motivational speaker put it this way: you're either hurt or you lost something. You're really hurt because somebody thought you said something a certain way, they misjudged you, or you lost something. You lost something that was special to you. You lost your power. You lost who you are as an individual. But it is really hard to get to that point. I've struggled with that for years, because the other piece is you don't want someone to judge you as being weak or lesser than. And then you're worried, are they going to stump on me? And am I going to be vulnerable? I'm putting myself out there. How are they going to treat me? I think we are blessed to have this forum because we have individuals who will accept that and embrace it and say, I got you. But in some cases, when we do it, you expose yourself and you're vulnerable, and you have to be okay with that.
I also want to say that I think it has a lot to do with, the why has a lot to do with unforgiveness. I think that when we find out the why, then we have to not just process through the pain, but process through the forgiveness that frees you up, the forgiveness that you have to do to someone else, or forgiving oneself. I think that self-guilt and self-unforgiveness is a very big problem with a lot of people still walking around holding on and bound up. And I think that we just have to learn how to forgive, and I mean really forgive, not just say it, but live it.
How do we do it? We bring a group of women like this together. And I mean, there's so much power in this room. I mean, this is nuclear level power just with this group.
Yeah.
You know, if we wanted to affect the people that we know, and we wanted to really impact our friends, or a lot of you have ministries where you're teaching people who are disenfranchised in some way. How do we walk them through some of the things we talked about vulnerability, about discovering your why, about self-love, about forgiveness? What's the process that we peel away to people and say, I didn't have this and I had to find it through different pieces, and I built this tool house, but now here it is completely displayed for you. How do we do that as a group? Because I love when we come together like this, but I also want to see us take this and throw it and translate it so that now it's not just 7 of us. You know, we're multiplying that level of awareness and oneness. How do we do that?
That's definitely.
I think first, the persons have to want the help and realize. You have to realize, like she said, we have to realize what's going on in the inside of us. Because if we don't want to be healed, we won't ever get healed.
Some people don't.
They don't want to get healed. So therefore, we have to now, sis, if you out there, you realize you have an issue. You realize you have a problem. Now, how do we start it? So therefore, that's where it comes in. Okay, you have your problem. Why you have that problem? We're gonna pick one thing. It's just like when you move into your first home, you don't normally, people just don't go and decorate the whole house at one time. We do one room at a time. So we go from what list? Let's go to the top 3 or maybe to the top 5, and then we'll work from that one thing to the next thing to the next thing. Because then we may be like, hey, what really started certain issues may be you may have had mommy issues, you may have daddy issues, and then we have to break that down. And then, you know, all those things have trickle down effects. And then you see how that one thing goes to that next thing that's been on your mind. It's all contribute to that first thing. And then it goes to the second thing. You know what I'm saying? We have the tertiary things. I mean, have so many different things that goes on it, but we have to find out what is the one thing that you've always had an issue with, and then we can try to break that down. But it takes time. So if you've got a list, you write it down. And let's talk about that one thing first. You can't multitask on self-healing. You can't.
You can't.
You can't
I think
multitask.
a lot of times, I'm sorry, I think a lot of times we need to go all the way back to where it started. We need to understand, where did it start? Where did this we have to go all the way back, if it's our childhood or wherever it started from. So sometimes we have to go all the way back to go through that process of being healed from things that hurt us. And a lot of times the why and not wanting to do is because of fear. Sometimes fear of failing, or sometimes fear of not failing. Okay, if I do succeed, then what happens next? I'm afraid, what am I going to do? If this does work, what's going to happen next? So a lot of times people have fears of not only failing, but succeeding.
Dr. Carolyn encourages us to reach out to our strong sisters. To me, that is one thing that we need to do. For some reason, we might look at all these people on the phone and think Darshell is strong, Tamika is strong, Dr. Carolyn is strong. We need to check on those sisters as well and see how they are doing, and you know, what is it they need? Do they just need a listening ear? Do you need some help with something? That's one, to me, actionable way of demonstrating that we are helping one another, and it has to be conscious. So we have to be proactive and say, you know, I'm going to reach out, or my goal is to help individuals. Again, there's greatness comes from giving. Progression comes from giving. If we're just sitting there waiting to receive so much, and we're not giving. And everybody on this phone is a giver, but we have to be conscious in the way that we're giving in order to really make sure that something like this grows and doesn't just stay in a small community.
I also believe that we should live by example. And as we live by example, the light that shines within you will actually shine upon others, and people will inquire about that light. People will start to, I teach young women, and they start to emulate you as long as you're living it out. They'll start to emulate you as you live the example of what practicing what you preach. And, the best advertisement for anything, good, bad, or indifferent, is word of mouth. And I believe that when you live it out and you live by example, other young ladies, because my focus is mainly young women, other young ladies take it on. And then, it's like that hair commercial, they tell two friends and they tell two friends, and so on and so on and so on. And I just believe that living it out and pouring back into the younger women, I think is what actually is going to actually bring this dysfunctional cycle to a halt, and has been bringing this dysfunctional cycle to a halt, is pouring it back in.
Sorry.
Go ahead, I'm listening, sweetie. Go ahead, Kanika.
I believe, no problem. I'm sorry. I believe also we as people, we've always been, well, as far as I know, a lot of us are afraid of getting professional help. I'm not going to a psychiatrist. I'm going to, everybody want to run to God. I know God is first, but guess what? He has put gifts in some beautiful people that can tell you some stuff, messages straight from God, from that person's lips to your ears. Because we need to we run away from psychiatrists, counselors. Don't get me wrong, Big Mama could be a good counselor, but sometimes some things are just maybe out of her pay grade. And you just got to upgrade and get somebody else to help them. You know what I'm saying? To help you in a situation that Big Mama never had before. You know what I'm saying? So you may be, entrepreneur now, and Big Mama don't have the answers, because you can't go to a person who ain't never had no business, get no business ideas or no business advice from, right? So therefore, we need to steer away from just being okay with just walking around bleeding.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
I think because we're so used to just bleeding and we know it's there and we just keep on going. But guess what? I still got my strength. But guess what? Mentally, we not all together. We just like crumbling. A little bit of us are just dying
all the time.
And we will never get to the full potential of who you could be, where you should be, and who you're going to be, because we're so stuck in the past. I really think we find out what it is that we need. They want to get healed. And if you seek out a life coach, you seek out a professional like Dr. Carolyn, someone who can help you dissect those issues and move forward. And then when you find the healing for yourself, you find like-minded sisters like myself and the ones in this room that are willing to help build you up, help lift you up, and help get you to the next level in you or in your business or whatever it is that you want to do. Give birth, be that midwife, right? Because ultimately I want to see you win. Rochelle, I want to see you win.
Yes.
You know, because guess what? Regardless of what, when you win, you're still a reflection of me.
Again.
You're a reflection of me because you're my sister. And a lot of times people say, well, she don't look like me. No, she's still my sister. Regardless of where she comes from, where she lives, she's still a reflection of me. I'm going for whoever wins in that aspect. If you're winning, you're winning. And if you're doing it right, you're doing it right. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I also want to say this too. When I first met Lisa and we were talking about my business, and she said, you know what? I do Black Friday. And I was like, Black Friday what? She said, I like to buy for my people. And that just struck me. Because I don't meet so many people who support us and they say it out verbally. You get what I'm saying? And she said it, and she meant it, right? So that stuck, that held me in my heart right there from Monday. I was like, really? You do? And then she was like, what's your Instagram? We exchanged Instagram. Didn't know it from Adam Cass. All of this said, hello, how you doing? And that's it. And we went from there. But you know, that just put her in a different mindset. It made me also think, well, how many people can we meet that can actually say that and what we can really do? And they say, you know what, I'm for my Black people. Very seldom. And that's why that struck me, because I had not had that experience. I had nobody say, you know, I believe in my people and I believe in supporting our people. Now, in different areas of the country, you will get that support, you know, like DC, New York. It just depends on where you are. But here in Miami and Florida, it's a mixed bag. You don't get that support. You don't have, it's not culturally enriched. So that was just an awesome experience. So I'm just saying, you know, when she said that, I'm a true believer in we do for each other. I support you. I support you. Support me. You put something on Facebook, I will share. I will share. I will share. And I will share. And I've done that plenty of times. People don't share for me, but it don't stop me from sharing.
Exactly.
That's right.
I will share. And didn't know you.
Whatever God has.
I'm sorry.
Whatever God has for me is for me. So if I share your stuff, you don't share mine, it's okay.
That's right.
Like my blessing. And I don't do what I do so that you could do something.
That's right.
This is how I live my existence. Because I believe we can all eat. I can't eat all the food.
Right.
But I can't publish all the books.
That's right.
Somebody got to come and publish some other ones. I like the butters, but I can't make butters. So I got to go see Kanika because she make the butters. I have to make them butters, boy. I got to reach out to other people to get stuff together. And guess what? I don't lose nothing by saying, hey, she got the butters. You better get over there and I don't lose anything by doing that. As a matter of fact, I am storing in my treasure chest of my soul. I'm building myself by building my sisters and brothers. And people say, people have said to me, well, I see you share, you know, you always sharing their stuff. They don't never share your stuff. I'm sorry, I didn't even pay much attention.
Yes, right. Right.
My point is to be who I am authentically. And if you're doing something and I believe in what you're doing, I am going to share it. And if you don't see me sharing, it's probably because I think you're a hot mess. I'm just teasing. Oh. If I'm sharing and I see you doing this work, I'm sharing it. I'm putting it. I'm saying because I can't do all the business. I can't get everything that's on the table. I can't get all the gravy. Somebody else.
I gotta say though, that brown baby butter. That brown baby butter.
Yeah, but you know,
them butters.
I want to say this. Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. I want to say this of Darshell while I'm thinking about it. You know, and Darshell wouldn't know this, but because we have a private messenger, and every time I'm in a meeting with Darshell, I go in Messenger, but they can laugh because they know this, but I go in Messenger and I always put these nervous emojis. Yeah. So everybody in there knows, oh, she must have been meeting with Darshell. But I say that because Darshell is one of the most aware sisters that I've ever met. Because, and the reason why the meetings with she and I are so intense because she always says, Carolyn, do you have your notepad? Are you writing that down? Carolyn, did you write that down? Did you write that down? But she said to me, I'm showing you how to do it if in case you ever wanted to do it for yourself. It's powerful.
I like that.
I'm saying to myself, well, you're the publisher. But she said, do you understand what I'm saying? But if you ever wanted to do it for yourself, I'm showing you how you can do it. And to me, that was powerful. But Darshell, I don't want to do that for myself. I'm going to keep you busy for the rest of your life. But but that was powerful. And that's a sister who is free in her mind. Because she's not saying, well, I'm not going to show you how to do what I'm doing because I'm trying to keep all the business for myself. No, this is a sister that is saying, I'm going to do this for you, but you don't have to sneak around the bend like some people do and try to copy what I do, because I'm just going to be free and show you how to do what I do. So if you decide that you want to do that, because you know, some sisters, sometimes they'll try to glean and learn how to do what you do and then be sneaky with it. You don't have to be sneaky with it. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do what I'm doing. But what impressed me so much about that with her is that comes from a sister who is free in her spirit. It all starts with your pathology and how you feel about yourself. You know, Lisa T is another one. You know, she is just such a free sister. Always, you know, what can I do to support? And I'm saying that, and I'm making accolades about them because, and really all of you all, but I'm saying when you're free in here and in your spirit, it gets easier. You see,
Yes.
you can see another sister who is not quite evolved and she's exhibiting toxic behavior. It doesn't affect you in that way because you just say, okay, well, my sister got a little something going on. Right. But see, it's all about being free within here and working on self and changing your own pathology, and in the hopes that eventually the freedom that you're experiencing in yourself, it will become contagious. And you send a subliminal message when you say that, is, sister, you don't have to fight me. We're on the same team. Yes. You don't have to fight, sister.
I'm on your side.
I'm on your side. I'm telling you out the gate that I'm on your side. So you might have some other people to worry about, but when you come here, this ain't nothing but some freedom and some healing right here, sister. And I think that's a message that we need to send as we interact with each other, so that we don't feel so guarded when we're dealing with each other.
I love it.
Right, and I think also that we have to take a position of, like Darshell said, you don't have to be recognized just because you did something for your sister. If it came from a genuine place, then you don't have to worry if it's reciprocated, because you know the way that the universe works, you know, the law of attraction, good things are going to come back to you regardless. Don't do it with the intention of getting something good back. Do it just because you love your sister and you want to see her do well. I mean, you know, Kanika doesn't even know it. I had the baby brown butter link on my board in my class because my students kept asking me, what was I putting on my hands that smells so good? Wash my hands so many times a day. And I said, okay, you can have just a little bit of baby brown butter because I got a small jar. And they was like, Miss Harrell, where you get this from? And I put the link on my board. I said, go here. Oh, we're going to tell her that you sent us. I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're just going to go there and you're going to spend your money. You're going to get some baby brown butter. You ain't got to tell my sister, because me seeing her excel is just enough for me.
Yeah.
You know, so like I said, yeah, your baby brown butter all up in Centura College, girl. Right? they know about it there too, because I had it on my hands. We wash our hands like 1,000 times a day, so we got to moisturize.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And you know, Jacqueline, because your show focuses primarily on Black women in business, and I know that today that we have discussed a lot of internal issues, emotional issues, psychological issues, but when you got issues, it flows over into every area of your life, especially business. And you know, one of the things that we are striving to do with the I'm a Black Woman project is to practice these good things when it comes to business. Because as Ms. Darshell said, sister, you don't have to fight, you don't have to compete. It's enough out here for all of us. And so even when it comes to us as business women, if we don't develop a healthy pathology, meaning we don't develop good ways that we think, then it does spill over into our business practices. There is no reason why we cannot support. There's no reason why we cannot support each other, because I need to see you rise. I need to, because you're part of me. You know, and we look at it that way. All of these women in this room, you all are a part of me, and I am a part of you. When you go out and you do what you do, you represent me. And so because I know that and I feel that and I live that, I want you to be the best representation that you can. I may not go as far as you go. So when you go, you're not just going for you, but you're going for me. When you're doing business, you know, when Lisa, you're sitting at that boardroom, you know, with those executives, you're a Black woman that's sitting there and you're representing me. And not only me, you're representing my daughters, the young women that are about to come. So I think that way because I allow the Creator to help work on my pathology. So everything is really based on your pathology and how you think and how you feel about yourself. And the more aware that you become, the more conscientious that you become, the more freer that you become, it becomes easier and easier to engage with other women.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
trust that process.
You know, I wanted to say, oh my God, so much, and I was trying to hold it all in, but I know, Darshell, you mentioned earlier, like I guess like a takeaway for the women, right? Like, how do they get to, like, what can they take away from this so they can maybe begin implementing, right? To better their lives, right? To make them better people, to make them better business owners. So I wanted to touch on that, and then Dr. Curlin, what you just said, in terms of, you know, because yes, I do focus on entrepreneurs. I focus on primarily coaches and consultants, right? And I help them increase their self-confidence. Now, the thing of it is, even though, yes, we're talking about the psyche, we're talking about your mindset, we're talking about mental health. But remember, like we all are saying here now, is that how you feel on the inside or what you got going on in here, right, is going to impact what type of a business owner you are. It's going to have an impact on if you continue or if you just give up, if you just throw in the towel. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, and I'm a social worker too. So it's like whatever is going on the inside, it's going to manifest itself in your personal life as well as your professional life. So you have to work on you and, you know, who you are, right? So when I talk about like confidence and self-confidence, that's dealing with how you feel about yourself. Like how we had talked earlier about the fear. And I forget who, I think it was you. I can't remember you. I can't remember. Somebody said something about fear and like, where's that fear coming from, right? That you have to be aware of. You have to be aware that you even have an issue or what your issues are or what you're fearful of. You know, like you said, some people are fearful of succeeding. Some people are fearful of failing. Some people are fearful of what other people are going to think of them, right? Other people judging them, all of those sorts of things. Everybody is different, but you have to understand yourself and where it's coming from, what those fears are. You know what I mean? And all of that comes from really taking a look at you, you know, and it's like from my standpoint, like when I work with clients, we start there. You know, what's going on with you? What are your fears? Why are you doubting yourself? You know, what is the barrier that is preventing you from basically, I know this sounds real cliche, but from living your best life, right? What is preventing you from doing that? You know, of course, they have to do the work. They got to be ready. They got to be willing. They got to want to do the work. They have to be one with themselves and really figure out what's going on. You know, and if they're ready to do the work, then we start from there. You know, so for those women out there, you know, you have to be insightful enough to know that there's a barrier there and that you know that you want more, that you want to move beyond that, right? And then once you do that, we start like chipping away at whatever that issue is. Like I know for me, I know a lot of it was me doubting myself. I mean, like I was like a huge ball of self-doubt, right? I always felt that everyone else could achieve whatever they wanted to, but I couldn't. Everyone else could achieve happiness, but I couldn't. It wasn't for me. So I knew that well, I didn't know it then, but looking back on it now, I know that was my barrier. You know, I never felt good enough. I never felt worthy. And somebody else mentioned earlier about forgiveness. It was like I couldn't forgive myself. I didn't feel worthy. You know what I mean? So I like feel when it comes to living your best life or doing better or moving forward, it deals with how you feel about yourself, meaning your like self-confidence. If you feel that you are capable of doing it, if you believe in yourself and your abilities, and if you feel worthy, if you feel deserving of it. Though, to me, those, in my opinion, those are the major two components. Because if you don't believe in yourself, it don't matter how much anybody else believes in you, it ain't gonna happen because you don't believe you can do it. And if you don't feel like you're worthy of it, then you're gonna keep blocking those blessings. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna keep overlooking those opportunities because you don't feel like you are worthy. So for me, like that's the message or the takeaway. Oh, and also too, Mia, thank you so much for joining. I'm sorry, I know you joined a little while ago. Thank you so much for being here with us today. But to me, it's like I try to start there, because if they don't feel like they can do it and they don't feel worthy, it ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? And I know what like what I've done for myself is I had to basically rebuild my self-esteem. I had to really like just fall in love with who I am as a person, right? And the value that I bring. You know what I mean? So it's like for me, Darshell, like that's the takeaway. I think that's what I want women to know out there. That they are special, that everybody has a unique talent, a unique gift. And long as you are true to yourself and you show up authentically, you know what I mean? That's to me that's like half of the battle, you know. And so to me, like that's the takeaway. So that's what I wanted to share. And I know that was like all kind of wrapped into one. I was talking about the fear, like where do you start? How do you move forward? So that's what I wanted to kind of put out there because I know we're actually everything is really flowing. It's like 4:42, y'all. And I knew this was gonna happen because it's like you guys are such a great group of ladies, and it's just I just really really enjoyed this, and I really really appreciated you guys coming and us just talking openly about this, and I really hope that this can inspire others, to continue to work on themselves and not to give up, don't give up on your dream.
Thank you for having us. This has been a great experience, and as always, I love to hang out with my I am a Black woman authors. It's a wonderful group of people. I feel like I know all of you personally now, so I love being with you, being around you, gleaning off your energy, and I do want you to know that I am learning so much from you guys. So thank you, Miss Jacqueline, for bringing us together.
Yes, thank
Oh,
you.
I mean, but we don't have to, I'm not saying we got to end like right then. I want everybody to like, give you a takeaway or just whatever is on your heart that you feel like you want to end or conclude with. But I don't want y'all to don't feel rushed, because I want everybody to have their chance to speak and, so who wants to go next?
This is Lisa. I can go. One of the takeaways or one of the things that I think we need to do is embracing each other and embracing our sisters. I was at a party, I say maybe 3 weeks ago, and it wasn't even my house, but the people that were coming into the house, I'm standing up, walking to the door and embracing them and hugging them. And you'd be surprised like how much that relieves tension on both sides. I'm doing it more for me than I'm doing it for them because I'm typically a nervous individual. I'm not very outgoing, but I will make myself talk to people because I know I'm not that person. So in order to push outside my comfort zone, I'll do things like that. And so if we're in a space, regardless of what the space is, be conscious of welcoming and embracing each other. Whether it's somebody we know, try doing it for people we do not know. Make that person feel at ease with us and who we are, because I mean, sometimes you can see people, you can see it all in their face, the tension, the baggage that they're bringing in. And when you just go up to them and hug them or greet them with a smile, then it's just, something as simple as that is my tip or my takeaway.
I love it. So you giving hugs at somebody else's house?
Yeah.
Love it.
Yes, I like to concur with what my sister Lisa was just saying. Affirmation to another person is very powerful. We don't always have to be the subject of affirmation coming out of our mouths. Affirming other women and loving on them the way that you would like to be loved on, I think is a very powerful tool that we need to actually incorporate a lot more often in our sisterhood of women. I find that the younger generation, which is my student population, the younger generation needs that affirmation. They need not to just be taught, but they also need that affirmation. We don't, it's like we can't keep always pointing out what the younger generation does wrong.
Right.
We have to affirm them for the things that they do right.
Yes.
So that they know that that's the path that they need to continue to go down. Now I'm an old school parent, so I do believe in correction and discipline, but I also believe in affirmation when you do something right. Don't always just point out the bad things, point out the good things as well. And that goes for us as relating to women in our own generations as well, because some of us are stuck in that area where we were constantly, beaten down and browbeaten, by society or, family members that didn't know any better or whatever. And I think that affirmation, and like Lisa said, a hug can go a long way. So I actually believe that the affirmation and just showing love, just letting your light shine and people see your light. I think that's something that we as women need to do for one another.
Agree, I concur.
I'd like to end with be teachable. In my office, I have a sign on the wall, and so when I walk in, it's the first thing I see: be teachable. You're not always right. When I turned 40, I wrote a list of things that I had learned at the point of turning 40, and I'm almost 50 now. But one of the things on that list was no one is now, nor has anyone ever been always right.
Right.
So be teachable. You're not always the smartest person in the room.
Right.
I say that for myself. I'm talking to me. I'm talking to me. But I think it's something that we can translate to be teachable. Every moment that you're with somebody, wisdom is being disseminated.
Right.
Every interaction, wisdom is being peeled off. And if you can grab that, it really helps you be more of a self-aware person, but also aware of the people around you. So stay teachable.
Yeah, you're right, because you can learn something from anybody.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Yes.
You can.
So we got Dr. Carolyn and Miss Terry and Miss Kanika. What would you guys like to leave? Oh, and by the way, two other people joined. Danielle Howard Thomas, thank you for joining us. Alexandria Williams Lee, thank you for joining us. And Wanda Fields joined us. Thank you.
I would say always walk in love.
Wait a minute, who's talking?
Always,
Terry.
always walk in love. Always give out what you would like to receive back.
Yeah.
Pay attention to your sisters, because like we said earlier, hurt people,
Yeah.
and it is the reason a lot of times why people react like they do. So I would just leave with just always walk in love and wisdom.
I'm just reading one of the comments, but who's on? Dr. Carolyn, I see Kanika took her. You ready?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just reading comments.
I'm going to just say, I've had a trying couple of weeks here. My sister was ill. And what I've learned over these last couple of weeks, forgive quick and love hard, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. And be humble enough to know that life is fleeting, right? And whatever it is that you're holding on to is not worth the life of a loved one that could say goodbye tomorrow within a second, whatever moment it is. So forgive quickly, love hard, and be open enough to express what you're feeling, how you love, you know what I'm saying? Take time, listen, talk. We as women, we hold in a lot of things. We are givers by nature. So give an extra ear, give an extra shoulder to lean on, give some extra words of encouragement, and also give some extra compliments. Because what I've learned is we don't get enough compliments, and then when someone give you a compliment, you feel awkward. Some people like, what? This old thing? Girl, it's new to me, but it may be old to you, but it look good on you today, right? So, I mean, it's just one of those things that, give compliments. Because guess what? A lot of us don't get enough compliments to know that
Right.
we're beautiful, to know that we are smart, to know that we are doing something worthy of someone is watching you and we're noticing you enough to say, that lipstick look good on you, girl. You need to wear that more often.
Yeah.
Or that red hair is like, ooh, 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 what you got going on? That's how I feel. Terry, she was taking some pictures when we first met. And I said, Terry, you take pictures every time I turn around. I look on Facebook, there go Terry in my timeline, right? She told me, and I had to think about it though. But what she told me, she said, when you come from someone telling you ugly, oh Jesus. When someone say you don't look good, you're not that one, or they just trying to down your spirit. But when you find something beautiful about yourself and you would take a picture now, but one time you ran from the camera, that's what I interpret. Those are not her words, but that's what I interpret it as, right? When you run from the camera, now you feel beautiful, regardless if you're 2, 3, 5, 25, 45, it don't matter. Whether if you been, that person's been telling you you're not worthy to take a picture, or you're not beautiful enough, that she found the beauty in her, that she's showing the world, regardless of what I've been through, I'm still beautiful, I'm still here. That's what I got from you, Terry, when you told me that, even though those were not your words. And I appreciate that, because it makes you think, because sometimes you may think people are just being vain, not her, but you may see somebody being vain, but you don't know that story or where that person came from.
Right.
That now that they find that they are beautiful as a butterfly, because they see now.
Amen.
And I love that.
Yes.
Awesome. That is awesome. I want to say, especially something that I've embraced in the last month. Erykah Badu has a song, and I think in that song she says, "Bag lady, you got too much stuff, dragging all them bags like that." And she says, but nobody ever told you that all you must hold on to is you. And so I think that what I'd like to leave with the sisters today is one real simple, small word: be. Just be.
Yeah.
Now that may sound very open-ended, because we're used to doing so much and being so much. When you tell somebody just to be, they don't even know how to do that. I've been working on this project. I have a business phone and I have a personal phone. And there were days I was waking up and I had a business phone in one hand and a personal phone in the other hand. I was texting, I was messaging, I was Facebooking, I was writing, I was on the computer, I was on the telephone, I was Facebooking, I was messaging, until myself stepped out of myself and said, "You crazy." Because if you think I'm going to keep going like that, then I'm going to leave you and let you keep going. And I had to take a break. I had all these voices telling me, you need to slow down, you need to take a break. But because I felt like I had to do all that for this project to be successful, and it came to me, all I have to do for this project to be successful is just be.
Amen.
Because the one that told me to start this project, he's got it. He's got it. And all I got to do is just be. I just got to be that vessel I don't have to do all that. I'm not saying that faith without works is not dead, but sometimes I look on Facebook and I see people and they just ripping and running and running and ripping and all over the place and trying to get deals and trying to be with this person and that person. Sister, just be.
Just be.
Just be. And whatever that is, take a walk. Take a walk. Go for a ride. You know, I like stones, as you can see I have in my hand. I just like to rub on them. I took out time to do that because a lot of times in just doing all this stuff that we feel we have to do, you can lose an important person. You. And I said, I dare not would have a best-selling book and not have me. At the end of the day, I got to have me. Yeah. And as long as because you can get things back, but you can't get another you back.
Amen.
That's right.
So I want to leave that. Even with that business that you have, just be, just learn how to be. And when you learn how to just be, let me tell you something. All the people that God has divinely connected with you, they're going to come to you. You ain't got to run it down. Deuteronomy 27 says, and the blessings of the Lord will overtake you. Those blessings will run you down. Whoever it is that you got to meet, God is going to fix it with, you going to meet them. So I see that with a lot of women, and I began to see it in myself, and it was ugly. I didn't like it. And so I want to leave that with you, beautiful women that are watching. Just be. That's all. That's to drink your water. That's the flow of life. Embrace life. Embrace nature. Enjoy yourself. Take a break and chill. Just be.
Everybody. I had muted myself for a minute. Okay, I want to make sure I was unmuted. Okay, everybody. Did anybody else have any other closing? I don't want to say about to say closing arguments like we in the courtroom. Anybody have any other closing thoughts or any, or because everybody spoke so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was
I want to say something. I want to say, Jacqueline, we thank you so much for having. We thank you. We just thank you for doing this. This was awesome.
Yeah,
you know,
fun, right?
I also want to say thank you to Miss Darshell for taking this project, for working with us, for being such a positive role model, always professional. Everything done in excellence. We thank God for you. We thank God for you, Miss Jacqueline, for pushing us and being there. And I just thank Dr. Carolyn for just being who she is.
Yes.
For always being positive, always being a role model. That's my sister. That's my big sister. I never had a big sister. Dr. Carolyn is my big sister. She is my role model. I believe in what she's doing, and I am just so thankful for her. I'm so thankful to be on this project. I'm so thankful to be connected with her because she's always so positive. And I mean, my life has changed. I have really learned to take care of Terry from Dr. Carolyn, to put Terry first sometimes and take care of Terry. And I just want to thank her for that. I want to thank the three of you for what you have done for this project. And the ladies, I want to thank all of you as well. Mary, Kanika, and Lisa, thank you. Just thank you for being here today. It was an awesome experience.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you guys are just, I love you guys. I have, you know what? Sometimes I get a little, I'm getting a visit from an 8-year-old. I'm almost finished. I was a little moved, from different times, just seeing all of the love and the way, you guys support one another. And I'm really excited that I'm going to be a part of the next collaboration. I can't wait. I am so excited. Hopefully I get a chance to meet you guys. I'm supposed to be trying to come the end of June. And if so happens and I don't make it then I'll be there.
In August.
In August, right?
August.
Yeah,
for the
so
book
I'll be able to
launch.
meet everybody then, right, Dr. Carolyn?
Yes.
Okay.
August is the big, August 16th and 17th is the big day. All the I am a black woman, I'm a black woman, next level, I'm a black man. Everybody is coming to Atlanta. It's going
Yeah.
down.
On
Yes.
Hotlanta. Woo.
Yeah.
Never be the same. Will never be the same.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Never.
Where is everybody? Dr. Carolyn, I know you're in Atlanta. Who else is in Atlanta?
Lisa.
Lisa, Terry,
I'm in Mobile,
you
Alabama.
in Mobile, Mary.
I'm in Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay. Darshell, where?
Houston, Texas.
Oh, you're in Houston, and Kanika's in Houston, in Texas
She's
too,
in
right?
Florida.
Florida.
I am.
She's Florida.
The MIA Miami hot
Oh,
sauce.
right. Okay, Miami.
Because
Okay.
if she was, we'd be on our way out right now.
What you say?
If you were here, we'd be hanging out right now.
Right.
Yep, I can't wait to meet everybody. I'm in Michigan.
Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good old Michigan.
All over the country.
Yep. This is so nice, and I really thank you guys. For participating. I'm just trying to see. We had quite a few people that joined us. Just the one I had brought it up earlier, but one of the young ladies had mentioned. She said, when the fear is identified, like where do we go from there? And for me, once I identify, and I hope I'm answering. I hope this speaks to your question, Yolanda. But once that fear is identified, what I did was I began to really take a look at who I am as a person, and just really like pour into me, like a lot of self-love, a lot of self-care, that helped to rejuvenate me. If some of us have issues with like depression and anxiety, don't be afraid to, and I know someone mentioned it earlier, but don't be afraid to reach out, to the appropriate person, because I know that a lot of us within the Black community, I know that that's like a something that we just don't want to deal with, like a taboo, if you will, in the Black community. So reach out that way if you're having issues in that respect, and just learn to start putting yourself first. And it may feel funny at first, but just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Then it'll begin to be easier and easier, because you can't keep pouring from an empty cup. But once if there's no mental health issues, you're practicing regular self-care, then I would say begin to work on two things. And I know this really worked for me, is totally changing who you surround yourself with, right? Surround yourself with other positive, like-minded people, right? That want to see you succeed, that have a positive outlook on life, and always celebrate your accomplishments, no matter how big or how small. Like, for example, I'm gonna celebrate that I was able to get us all on Zoom at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my little happy dance when we get off. So celebrate your accomplishments and pay attention to who you surround yourself with. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this gentleman, but his name is Eric Thomas, and he's a native of Detroit. Anybody know him?
I know what. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I really like him. You could really tell he's so passionate when he talks. And one of the things, I think the title of one of his talks or discussions is, "You are the sum total of the individuals that you surround yourself with." And I think he made a comment that I don't know, he had a girlfriend or something like that, and she said, "Well, I'm getting ready to go to college, and and if you're not willing to go to college or better your life, you're not gonna be able to be in my life." Something along those lines. But when he talks about that is just so powerful to me. And I've noticed that I've been linking up with a lot of people, and even if it's in the online space, because unfortunately sometimes we have friends and family members that may not be the most supportive. I know I've been there. They don't want to see you succeed, or they're speaking from a place of fear and they're projecting their fears onto you. So I found a lot of support in the online space, a lot of supportive women, very supportive women, that I've formed, bonds with. So ladies, out there, entrepreneurship is no joke. right? You have your ups and your downs, but find you a good support system. Like I said, even if you have to go online, because I know I found a lot of good online supportive communities. So I hope that's helpful. But as a takeaway. Okay. So anybody else got anything else that they want to share or mention, or any announcements, any projects that you guys have that you might want to just elaborate just a little bit on?
I just want to make an announcement.
Okay.
Cleveland, Ohio. My husband's book is Ramology. You can see the copy of the book published by Boss Lady Press, Darchelle McAlpine herself. We are having a book launch in Cleveland, Ohio at a spot, thank you, Darchelle, called Rebar. It is a casual all-white day party. Everybody is welcome to attend, but we're going to do some poetry, some open mic, food, champagne, toast to my people and family in Cleveland. But if you're in the area, next Saturday, noon to 4. Thank you.
That's kind of over here in my
also
neck
going
of
to
the
promote
woods.
one more thing. We're also going to promote I Am a Black Woman as well. We're going to definitely.
All right.
Ooh, that's
I will
awesome.
be there.
Yes.
I will be there.
She will.
Well, I want to say that on June 29th here in Atlanta, Georgia, we're having our first I Am a Black Woman, Black Women's Caucus. And we are going to be at the round table discussing many of the things that we talked about on today. Is themed the rules of engagement. And we're actually going to sit at the round table. We're going to talk about developing some rules, developing some how-tos of how to engage with each other as women, and so that we can begin to put those things into practice, because we don't want to just keep talking about it, but we want to actually demonstrate that. So that's June 29th. I'll be putting that out, and that's our first Black Women's Caucus. Looking forward to that.
I'm really trying to be there. That's my goal. I really want to be there and be a part of that awesome event.
I'm gonna have to get a second home in Atlanta.
I know.
Yep. Yes, you will, Joe.
Anybody else? I know, Lisa, you made your announcement. Dr. Carolyn, you did. Terry, you got any upcoming events or anything like that?
Yes, I do have a upcoming event. I have an event June the 1st for my Loving Me movement for my girls. And I'm going to get on the grill and barbecue for them. And we're just going to have fun. And our subject is going to be peer pressure.
Wow.
And we're just going to have a good time. And also on the 22nd of June, I'm having a women's all-white prayer breakfast. So those are the two things that No More Tears has in the month of June. And I plan on being with Dr. Carolyn on the 29th.
Cool beans.
Okay.
Awesome.
Anything for you, Mary or Kanika? Anything you guys want to, any events or anything like that you guys have going on, or something that you want to mention?
Actually, I don't have any events myself coming up. I'm just in the midwifing phase right now. So
okay,
just everybody around me.
Getting ready for that book launch, Jacqueline, August the 17th. That's what most of us are getting ready for, the book to come to pass. So that's what
okay. I know, right? I can't wait. I'm so excited for all of you.
And I'm excited for you, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for having us, and just being awesome and being transparent. And I just love you, and I love your spirit. And I'm excited about taking the women to the next level, and Jacqueline's going to be a part of that. And I'm just excited. I'm just excited about what God is doing and how the movement is growing, and we're just all growing. But thank you for having us on this platform. I had an awesome time, and it was certainly a pleasure. And from I Am a Black Woman, we want to thank you for just making us a part of what it is that you are doing. We're really grateful to you for that, sister. Thank you again.
Thank you.
I am too. I'm so glad that we're all connected. Yeah, I'm so glad that we're all connected. You are beautiful, beautiful women, and I just look forward to collaborating again and to meeting you guys face to face. So,
Kanika, you didn't do a brown baby butter plug, nothing?
Right.
That butter.
I got it. Oh,
Okay.
Well, can you at least get the website and tell everybody where you can find that butter?
she done muted us out.
Oh yeah, I guess you can.
Okay.
Somebody's talking to me. Everything is kind
Yeah,
of.
we're telling you to tell everybody about the website so everybody can be buttering up. Where
Listen. Everything is like I'm getting real bad feedback, so I don't know who's talking about what, and I'm just like, that's why I'm just sitting here. I'm trying to listen and try to catch something. Well, anywho, thank you for letting me know. I got some of that bits and pieces. Oh, look at Donnie. No, I don't have anything going on. Only thing I got going on is right about now is just me being me promote my business. Is called Brown Baby Butters and Scrubs. It's at www.brownbabybutters.com, where you can go there and you can find out. You can follow me on Instagram as well, Brown Baby Butters as well. I'm gonna say this: Brown Baby Butters was something that I came up with. Well, God helped me birth it. To be honest, I came up with those things when you think about the things that you know how to do, that you love to do, and when your back is being pushed against the wall, you kind of think about all the stuff you know how to do that you can create some type of money. And that's what I did. And that came about, I'm believing, trying to help myself, my sisters, and my brown sisters, but we do have certain type of conditions with our skin that our other counterparts don't have, like hyperpigmentation, Malaysia, and all these other stuff that goes on, razor bumps and all that. So I've been working in my little chemist room with my little recipes, and actually that's what it was about for me, trying to do something that can help us as well. I have more or less of essentially care line for those things when you use essential oils, but then we also have the ones that you be smelling good for. That's what I smell good, look good, and all that other good stuff. So you go there, find out something, and guess what? And if you happen to go on there today, I'll put a special code on it. You have to go on there and find out what the code is, and I'll put the code out there for you to just say, we're gonna call it Queens. If you put a Queens code in, you'll find out when you at the end what the code discount gonna be. So if you purchase something today, I'll put it there for 24 hours for today.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me this chance and this opportunity. But let me also say that.
Well, we can't hear you now.
Okay, I was just gonna say that I thank you guys for the opportunity. I can't.
So you hear? I hear your feedback. You probably hearing your own voice play back to you.
It's okay. I love y'all. That's it.
Well, let me thank you again, ladies, for joining me. It's such an honor to have you guys here. And thank you for all of those out there that joined live with us, as well as those that will catch the replay. And please, if you catch the replay, put in the comments, replay viewer, and definitely feel free to leave any questions or comments that you have there. We'd love to hear from you. We'll definitely cycle back around and answer them for you. This concludes A Queens Roundtable Quarterly Symposium, which happens quarterly. So the next one will be in January. Okay. The next A Queens Roundtable. Wait, no, I'm sorry, y'all. Woo, what am I doing in next year already? The next one will be in September. I'm sorry. The next one will be in September. Then after that, we'll have another one in May. So like I said, I do it 3 times a year. If you are interested in being a panelist, please reach out to me, realizing your potential. The number is 123@gmail.com. I'd also like to say I am doing a 30-day Go Live challenge for those coaches and or consultants out there that know that you want to use live streaming to grow your business, but you are reluctant to do it for whatever the reason. You're too shy, you compare yourself, you fear failure, whatever the case is. Join the challenge. I'm also going to include that link. It is going to take place inside of my Facebook group, and you do have to request membership. Okay. It starts tomorrow, the 20th. So thank you again, everyone, for joining, and everyone enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. Okay. And I will talk to you all again soon.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Love
Okay.
you, ladies. Thank you.
Love you.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.